You're tuned into Recovery TV, the voice of hope, with your host, John J. Tassoni Jr. Discussions and information on addiction and mental health issues. Here's your host with today's guest.
Welcome to another edition of Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. Narcan, please get it. CVS, Walgreens, URI. Put it in your purse, put it in your car, take it out at night. Ladies and gentlemen, this saves lives. Saves lives. Overdose deaths are down. It's because of this little box that we have right here. And today, we have golfers. You may look at me and say, what are you doing with golfers on Recovery TV? Well, I met this gentleman at Dunkin' Donuts, Mr. Mike, and he is the president and CEO of the Golfing for Addictions in Rhode Island, and his right-hand fundraising man, Alan. Welcome, both of you, and thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Mike, let's start off by telling people what this is all about, because I was flabbergasted when you came into Dunkin' Donuts and we had that conversation. I knew nothing about Golfing for Addiction.
Golf for Addiction was started 2 years ago by a couple of gentlemen in Massachusetts. Spike Fortin, who was the founder of Golf for Addiction. He was scheduled to play golf one day, and they paired him up with somebody he had never met. And come to find out, as he started talking to the gentleman, he was 2 weeks out of detox from methamphetamine. And, you know, just like most of us when we first come in, down and out, and, you know, not thinking that his life could change. Played a round of golf with him and saw the guy start to slowly come back to life. They formed a friendship. They still golf together to this day. So they got talking and realized that they wanted to do something that could possibly help an addict. I know when I first came in, self-esteem was non-existent. And I found that being teamed up with mentors in recovery, not being able to play golf very well when I first started, was a big boost to my self-esteem, you know, and just being able to spend 3 or 4 hours out on a golf course with a guy who may have 30, 40 years of sobriety.
Yeah.
So it's huge.
Now, Mike, how long have you been in sobriety?
I celebrated 13 years in November.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
And Alan?
I've been in sobriety since November 13th, 2011.
You know what amazes me, too, when I have all these guests on the show, how they can pinpoint the day that they stopped. You know, and I give both of you a lot of credit to picking up, and I'm going to say it, picking up the ball, the golf ball, and starting a program like this, because I've never heard of it before. And I only give you guys, not that I only give you, but the credit that you deserve to get people who are in recovery out in the fresh air and to do a sport and to enjoy themselves while they're in recovery. So how did you get this? Because I've never heard of it before.
Well, I was approached at the golf show, the Northeast Golf Show at Gillette last year, by this gentleman that founded it, because somebody had told him that I was in recovery and I did a lot with newcomers, and I thought the idea was fantastic. And I mean, when I first came into recovery, I was told, and it always stuck with me, no matter what your passion in life is, there's somebody here in recovery that does it, whether it's motorcycles, fishing, music. And I found more and more people that golf was their thing. You know, there's sober golf leagues out there. I never knew about that before I came in here.
Me either, until we had that chat.
Yeah, there's sober golf leagues out there. So, and the biggest thing that I believe is the one-on-one time with somebody with some sobriety. Because if I spend 3, 4, 5 hours out on the golf course, we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. And I'm going to be able to share my experience and, more than anything, listen, because nobody listens to us when we're actively using.
You know, you're 100% right. And for someone to spend 3 or 4 hours with someone, that bond
Absolutely.
can work as a team, and then you move on to the next venture. So how did you pick up Alan?
I've known Alan since I came into recovery, to be honest with you. And Alan has a history of helping. He did a lot of fundraising golf tournaments and softball tournaments over the years. And he was one of the guys, when I first started playing golf, my first year, it wasn't pretty. But Alan stuck by me and said, listen, It's not about how you hit the ball. Like you just said, it's about spending time. Look at this beautiful golf course we are. We're in nature. We're 4 sober men spending the day together. That's priceless. Because nobody wanted to spend the day with me when I was active. That's for sure.
So Alan, I mean, obviously, you're trying to help the cause by raising money,
Yes.
raising awareness
Yes.
to the issue. So tell me about yourself.
Well, first of all, I just want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ because he saved me from the addiction. Then he put me in places where I could get help and recovery. And that's how I met Michael. And so through a 12-step program of Alcoholics Anonymous, we started our journey. And so many years ago, I have been struggling on and off for a long time. Seriously, since the time I was about 16 years old, I needed help. And I just struggled. And so eventually I surrendered, but I needed help. So AA was my first step. And then I had gotten, I went back to church. Then I started to play golf again. And then Mike and I had got connected a few years ago. And I gotta be honest with you, I'm a very competitive guy. So like, I really didn't have the patience usually for doing something like this. I wanna go play, but yet not really take the time for people sometimes.
Right.
But God helped me with Mike. He helped me through Mike. Mike showed me some things about being compassionate, being steadfast, being committed, and having perseverance. So what's happened for Mike and I is that I didn't know nothing about this organization either until he caught me one day. Al, I got this thing. I go, what is it? He goes, Golf for Addiction. He goes, let's play in a tournament with me. And that's my introduction. And so 2 guys that we played in a tournament with, Matt and Ryan, had played a little golf before but never had the real fellowship. Newly in recovery.
Right.
We spent the day enjoying each other, helping each other, but more than anything, enjoying what God has presented to us.
Yeah, you know, this what you just said, it really it hits your heart. You know, when you have people struggling with whatever it is, whatever type of addiction, whether it's substance use, mental health, alcohol, and you put a team together. You know, I always say this on the show, there's no I in team. This is a team effort to get you folks on the straight and narrow, helping other people to get them to realize there is hope. There is hope. So many people think that, you know, when I go out and I speak to different organizations, they don't think that there's hope. They just think, listen, I'm a drug addict, I'm a drunk, and there's no hope for me. There's nothing. But then you have other people like yourselves coming on the show, and other folks that I've had on the show that I could never even believe that they made their way out. But they did it. They did it to a point where they have friends now, they have families coming back, they have children now, they have husbands, they have wives. It's a whole different thing. But I want to talk to you about your membership when we come back, because we have to take a break because I have to pay the bills. You're watching Recovery TV, and I'm your host, Sean Tassoni. We'll be right back after these messages.
And now back to Recovery TV with your host, John J. Tassoni Jr. Recovery TV is made possible by our supporting sponsors and our title sponsor, Kodak. Now, here's John and today's guest.
Welcome back to Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. Golfing for Addiction, and we have Mike and Alan here, and here's their little ball with the QR code. It's simply an amazing organization that's just come to fruition in the state of Rhode Island. And Mike, I want to thank you for doing that, because you know, so many people look for something to do, keep their mind off their addiction. You know, spend 4 or 5 hours out on a golf course. Perfect. Perfect. So let me ask you a couple of questions. How many members do you have? Now, I mean, it's a young organization,
Right.
so how many members?
Membership is tough. You know, we don't have members per se. We have a group of sober mentors, men and women, Last year, we were able to put 12 newly sober men out on the golf course, play in tournament-style play at some beautiful golf courses in Massachusetts, which they had never done before, never been able to do, never even, one of them said he never even thought of being able to walk into a country club like that because he wasn't good enough. So, but what we're trying to build is relationships, like Swing Juice here. They're a golf apparel company out of Pawtucket, Rhode Island. They're on South Bend Street, and they've been gracious enough to tell us that moving forward, they will outfit all our new golfers in golf apparel. And I told them, hopefully next year it could be 20 to 25 guys. It costs about $1,500 per recipient for a new golfer to come in, and that includes custom set of clubs fitted to that person, golf lessons, golf apparel, which Swing Juice is now going to provide to us, and tee times and practice times. You know, so we need community support. We need donations, frankly. You know, and so membership it's tough to define. We don't have per se a membership list. You know, we have a lot of volunteers. And the biggest thing I think going forward will be the mentor relationships that we build. I have a list going through the state of Massachusetts all the way into Worcester with people that are willing to jump on board and help. Men and women. This isn't just a boys club. You know, if you're a newly sober gal and you want to try the game of golf, give us a buzz.
You know, the cost to do that, it's not astronomical. And I know that's why you brought Alan on board for fundraising and try to get the monies to get it to do that. Let me ask you another question. We were talking offline a little bit about things that you want to see. If I was, and I know this show is going to air in January, but if I'm Santa Claus, what would you ask for?
Well, our vision for Golf for Addiction Rhode Island in 26 is we would like to secure a building, lease a building, 1,500, 2,000 square feet, put 2 golf simulators in, a putting green, but most importantly, an area to meet with newcomers. And my dream would be then to be able to go into sober houses and say, okay, next Tuesday I'd like you to bring your guys down. And we'd have, you know, some guys that maybe never played golf before would be too embarrassed to go to the driving range. And they're going to walk into a situation, a building, and with mentors that have been exactly where they're at, whether that be 30 days of sobriety or a year of sobriety.
Right.
You know, so the biggest wish for us is to help as many people as we can. But we believe that a building of something like that could be crucial. We'd be able to reach more people too.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna say it. It's a brilliant idea. Brilliant. You know, and off of that shoot, you could have other organizations like bowling,
Absolutely.
tennis,
Yes.
anything
Absolutely.
like that to get people on the straight and narrow. Because, you know, as my tagline is here, there's hope and recovery. What is your tagline?
Fill in the void, driving the passion, changing lives one swing at a time. You know, and I love how you mentioned the other sports, because already in my head I've envisioned an area for cornhole tournaments
Right.
and cookouts in the summer. Pickleball is now a big thing. You know, just because golf isn't your thing, maybe you try this. And we all,
It's always to keep the mind going.
Exactly.
You can't just sit home and sit on the couch and go and, you know, if you're in recovery, that temptation is there all the time.
Without
Yes.
question.
24/7,
Yes.
7 days a week.
Yes.
So you need something to occupy your time.
One of the first pieces of literature I was given in recovery was called Living Sober. It's a small book like this, and it talks exactly about what we were just saying, how to fill that void. Maybe read a book, go for a walk. But where Golf for Addiction, I think, is great is the time spent with somebody that's sober. So, and we may be out there and not even talking about golf, talking about how to handle bankruptcy or how to get my license back.
Right.
Because those are all things that most of us have had to do.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Now, Alan, what is your vision on? I mean, is it $1 million a year you want to raise? Is it $2 million a year?
So it's interesting.
Did you play the Powerball? I mean,
Yeah.
what are you looking for?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think for me, and having some experience in this over the years, I did this with a dear friend of mine, Peter, who's also in recovery. He got me involved with raising funds for the Tomorrow Fund many years ago, and we did that for around 15 years between softball tournaments and golf tournaments, and we were very blessed to be able to raise the much needed resources for these families as they were going through this with childhood cancer. And so what my vision is that we build it. We have confidence in the vision of hope.
We build it and they will come.
They will come because we are in a real difficult situation here. All around us, somebody has been affected by addiction. And so we all know somebody. We all know somebody that has suffered from that. So it's more than just tugging on purse strings.
Right.
For me, it's about presenting, making us vulnerable, and it starts with guys like Mike and I to tell our story. We were in the deep pit of hell at one time in our life, and now through organizations like Golf for Addiction, we're able to come out of that and to be integrated back into society again. So my goal is not so much a particular dollar, but that God provides us with what we need to get the job done, but we got to present it. We build it, they will definitely come. And there are a lot of folks out there right now that are already reaching out to us. As people sponsor you and your show, people are already talking to us about what they would like to do.
Right.
And so then we got to just follow through too.
Right,
We got to make
right,
sure
right.
we're delivering on what we're
Again,
saying.
it's a team effort. You know?
Yeah, it's a team.
No
It's a team
I
effort.
in team. So.
Yeah, and in the golf tournaments themselves, we could use some great help. We got our first tournament coming up to support the Rhode Island part of this Golf for Addiction, and it's going to be held at Hazelton Golf Club on May 16th, 2026. And it's going to be $150 per person. And out of that, we do derive some revenue after expenses, but we're also looking for T sponsors, and we're looking for some corporate sponsors. That's my wish list from Santa, you know, to throw us a couple of marquee sponsors to help get us off the ground.
Yeah, and that's the bulk of the whole thing is try to just get it off the ground.
Yes, sir.
And it will go on its own.
Absolutely.
It will go on its own.
Yes, sir.
We're going to take another break, and I want to put up your website. I want to put up a phone number. You know, there are a lot of people watching this show on the weekend. Maybe we'll get a building. Maybe we'll get a corporate sponsor. Maybe we'll get a check in the mail. Maybe we'll get something. But I got to go to break because I have to pay the bills. You're watching Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. We'll be right back in a bit.
And now back to Recovery TV with your host, John J. Tassoni Jr. Recovery TV is made possible by our supporting sponsors and our title sponsor, Kodak. Now, here's John and today's guest.
Welcome back to Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. Golf for Addiction. Mike and Alan, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having
Alan,
us.
give
Thanks
us
for having
the website, the telephone number. We need donations, we need donations, we need donations.
The main website is g4a.life, and that will show you what we've done this past year. And then my personal is g4arimj@gmail.com.
Great. I wish you all the best and get this off the ground. I'd love to have you come back. Next week, folks, Carol Costa will be joining me, and after the show, coming up is Kodak Live, fully integrated care. Again, golf. Golf, golf, golf. Have a great week. See you next week.